Betting for breakfast. We are live Saturday afternoon, a little bit of a late breakfast today, but listen, everybody's had those weekends, right, where you sleep in real nice, you get a start. But listen, we are right in the midst of Masters weekend. We had the show Wednesday night. We broke down how we saw the field, how we saw some things playing out, and there's been some surprises. I'm Mark Drumheller. I'm here with Dave Gleckner. Betting for breakfast, Heat Ratio Sports. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and get entered automatically to win an Aaron Nola Phillies prize pack. So go over there, hit the like, subscribe button in YouTube. But Dave, let's start with the Masters. I think that is the real story of the weekend. It's been excellent so far. It's been so much fun to watch. Things haven't gone exactly the way I saw them initially, but a lot of interesting developments. One of the things we talked about Wednesday was Brooks Koepka. How bad was the knee going to be? The answer was very bad, right? Jordan Spieth, would he be able to continue his success in Valero into the Masters? We're seeing that he's right at the top of the leaderboard. And of course, Dustin Johnson. Dustin Johnson not making the cut, I think, might be one of the biggest surprises. And there were some big names that didn't make the cut, including Patrick Cantlay, a guy that I was heavy on.
Yeah. Hey, let's start off with, the show from Wednesday. And you're right. We're Dustin Johnson. None of us had him to win it. And it's not that we don't like Dustin Johnson. It's not that we don't appreciate his game and everything going on. It just shows you how hard it is in this sport to compete from week to week, major to major. Guy coming off a -20, a Masters record in November, shoots a +5. The game is, it's tough, man. It's hard as nails. I got some wrong too. Rory not making the cut. He did make a little try to challenge late Friday, but he's just all still mentally screwed up in there.
Same story, Rory. I call him. Same story, Rory. Can't get out of his way, man.
He can't. And then the biggest surprise is, and you allude to a little bit, but it's the top of the leaderboard. When you look at Zalatoris and Harman sitting at tie 2, I think they played a combined 2 Masters. We've talked about how course experience is huge here. These guys threw that in our face and said, nah, bro. And now you're looking at a guy, Justin Rose, who hasn't competed at any type of quality level in the past year, who goes out and shoots the round of the tournament, 65 on a hard first day. It's fun golf. I will tell you, those 3 right there, I don't know if they're going to survive. You're going to see them stay up there the whole time, but they're making a really good run. The guy right behind him, though, Jordan, the guy tripled 9 on Thursday. Tripled, got in the woods, got in jail, got messed up, and he's 1 stroke off the lead right now. He's amazing. He's playing some amazing golf.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, like, with this course. Like, some of the things they talked about earlier, it's just kind of like having patience. Like being proficient between that 175 and 225 yard mark and really not trying to get out of position. And if you do get out of position, just start thinking bogey. Like, don't try and go crazy to get out and try and catch up, because then you're going to have those triples. You're going to end up in deep trouble. And I think we saw a lot of that. You know what I mean? Especially on Thursday, I think it was like they finished up almost 3 strokes above par on average. Like, it was just a crazy day. But today's going to be a lot of fun, man. This is the perfect time, I think, to do this episode because, listen, they've teed off. We started seeing some momentum going, and the wind's going to be kicking in later in the afternoon. So there's going to be some prime opportunities to live bet that we are going to get into. I had the 2 outrights. I had Cantlay. Obviously, he was trashed. I think he finished at like 10 over. Didn't make the cut. And then I had Rahm, and Rahm was someone that we talked about Wednesday night as well. And he's a guy that knows the course. And after Thursday, I think he was even. And I wasn't worried at all, to be honest with you. I said, you know what? He knows this course. He's just being patient. He's doing what he has to do. I expected him to kick it up into that next gear yesterday, and that didn't happen. And we're seeing much of the things today. Him, Patrick Reed, another guy in top 20, just kind of middling around even and really can't get anything cooking.
It can't. And Rahm's temperament is always what we've been worried about for the way he would perform in a major. And we've seen him kind of just lose his temper and really lose his focus. Now that he had the kid, we're like, life's good, right? You're riding high, you're on cloud 9. Maybe that temperament, kind of gets evened out. And it has been. But unfortunately, the game hasn't been there right now to really match that. I don't know if it's the time off. I don't know if it's, his inability to really practice, but you can see it's just a little off with Rahm. He's close, but at this point, 8 strokes behind. He's only got about 20 holes left in this tournament, 24. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him to make that run. I loved him this week too, bud. I really did.
Yeah, but I mean, I trashed that ticket, and I really got to kind of get into, the live betting to see if I can kind of make back some headway, right? Like I'm the guy now who's in the woods a little bit. I got to dig myself out. Stark difference from the last couple tournaments where, we got off the good starts. We started betting it live, pulled through. But, a little bit of regression so far. But listen, we got 2 more days. We're only at the halfway mark. So we got plenty of time here. And it looks like, listen, Justin Rose, we talked about him. Looks like he's already off to a good start. 1 under on the first hole. So now he still leads the field at 8 under. And in second place, tied with Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth right now, is Corey Connors. A guy that I bet against today, believe it or not. I had Morikawa against Connors. Morikawa was a guy who, he increased his greens and regulation percentage from Friday, 10% from Thursday. He was a guy who I thought was figuring it out, figuring the course out, expected a big surge from him. And Corey Connors has just been lights out today. He's been the story so far. Started the day at 2 under, 6 under now, -4 on the day. And he's only through 7 holes. So he's got plenty of time to do some more damage. And I think so far he's been the story.
He has, and I mean, for those of you that may follow golf casually or even, really follow it and might not be familiar with the name Corey Connors, he's had 5 top 10 finishes this year. It's a guy, he's from Canada, but he's going to make the Olympic team too. Keep an eye on that. And in his career, he's got 1 win. I mean, he's a big hitter, good ball striker. Maybe not the household name, but maybe not too much of a surprise for him to be up here. Way up there. Yeah, a little bit of a surprise, but the guy competes, and he's been in some tough situations before and competed in some big events prior. So he's really sneaky. What did he get, a hole in one today?
He did. He got the ace at the 6th hole.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, he's been steady, just gaining strokes. He started, he was, -1 at 2, -1 all the way through. He's been just on fire, man. And it's if he can keep that up, I mean, he's going to be in a race. Odds at DraftKings Sportsbook right now, he's plus 1,000 to win the whole thing now. So, I mean, he's kind of shot up there with those top guys. He's shot up on the leaderboard as well.
Yeah. So talking about that, I threw out my couple of winners that I liked. I liked the Rahm. I liked the Rory. I liked, I like Colin a little bit. There were some deeper guys too, and nothing's looking great. So when I popped in on Friday morning, Thursday night, I said it's time to jump on Spieth. So I jumped on Spieth. Got a little 9-1 action Thursday night. Got a little more 5-1 action yesterday, mid round. It's a guy that I should have identified early. I just thought 12-1 was a little much for him. And I thought you could have waited and improved those odds. Instead, I got 9-1. I'm not that mad. But the reason I didn't outright bet Jordan right away, 12-1, he was the second favorite, third favorite. That seemed high. Didn't you think so?
I did. And to me, it's weird because, and I'm starting to second guess myself now, but I just kind of looked at it from the perspective of, can he really win back to back? Like I saw these people online and they had these parlay tickets where they had him in Valera, they had him at the Masters, and it was like 172-1. And I'm like, this ticket can't hit. So I'm automatically just fading him. Like I just thought that there was just no way. And plus, like one of the things I built into my handicap and going into is that a lot of people punted on Valero so they could rest up and be right. And he's a guy who went through, 4 days of stress. You know what I mean? To kind of get over the hump and win that tournament. And then for him to come in and deal with the stress of the Masters coming down the stretch here in Saturday and Sunday. I just felt like that was a lot for anybody to take on. And especially like Valero was a very thin field. This is the fattest field you're going to get, right? This is the best of the best. So I thought it was like just so difficult for him to kind of do what he's doing. So he's proved me wrong so far.
Yeah, see, I actually thought he had a good chance to win this. I just didn't like the 12-1 number. I thought in retrospect, I could actually play him a little better later, I was hoping. No, it didn't. My odds didn't hurt too much. I waited a day and I got 9. But with him, his history here, it's just tremendous. It's a place he plays for. Him playing at Valero, it taught us something. He needed to taste that, closing out of a match, closing out of a tournament, because he had been so close over the past 3 months. that it actually propelled him, and I think he's going to do it. I mean, his biggest competitor to me is Justin Thomas. I know Rosie's up there. I know some other people, but JT is one that him and Spieth grew up together. And you see these childhood pictures of them sitting there eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when they were like 10 at golf tournaments. To see them two paired together on Sunday would be something fantastic. This no matter who gets there, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be
yeah. But that would really be the best matchup. I mean, now it looks like, when we're talking about everybody thought Bryson would be able to kind of make a push today, not really happening. I think he's 3 over now through 7 holes. So, that was a guy who I was kind of targeting, but I laid off. You bring up Justin Thomas, and Justin Thomas is a guy I almost punched a ticket on today. Had the matchup again with Finau on DraftKings Sportsbook. I bet it yesterday, and he let me down. He missed the putt at the end. It was like a 3-foot putt. He misses the putt on 18. I would have had a push, but he dug himself a little bit of a hole early in that matchup. Finau was just rocketing. I mean, I don't know what it is. I bet against Finau yesterday, and he was unconscious. I bet against Corey Connors today, unconscious. Like, I should just pick, I should bet against Rahm, and then hopefully he can fly up the leaderboards and catch my outright ticket.
No, listen, it's a tough. Matchups are tough. I mean, it's not easy, and you got to really feel out what stats you're looking for when you do go into that matchup. One guy I really liked today was Xander Schauffele, and we can talk about that. I punched a ticket on him earlier. He's starting to come up.
I think we're losing you, Dave. Yep, Xander Schauffele. He was talking about he's definitely one of the guys up towards the top of the leaderboard. It looks like he is at 4 under today, so his gain to stroke came in at 3 under. Xander Schauffele is somebody who I wasn't initially on, to be honest with you. But it looks like he's another guy who's proving me wrong, kind of staying at the top. If we look at the top of the leaderboard right now, we're looking at Justin Rose, Corey Connors, JT, Justin Thomas, and Jordan Spieth, all right there. Rose at 8 under, and then the other 3, Connors, Thomas, Spieth, and Harman and Leishman now all at 6 under. Zalatoris is 6 under as well. So it looks like that group of people is going to be, they're going to be the top competition. They're the guys that you want to look at when you're thinking about placing a wager as far as, who's going to win the Masters outright. And not only outright, but who's going to win round 3. That's something that we wanted to look at today. Who's going to be able to win round 3? And one of the most interesting parts about today that we have to kind of look at is when you're betting the odds for round 3, you want to look at the fact that, these guys who are just teeing off now, the leaders, the guys at the top, are going to have a little bit more of a difficult time than the guys who already got an early start today. And the reason of that is because the winds are supposed to pick up today, increasing all the way up to 20 and 25 miles per hour. So that is a situation that we have to monitor, especially if we're doing live betting, is those windy conditions, and what golfers do we think are going to be able to be more effective in those types of conditions. The wind is something that can really make a difference. And if you're not, comfortable in playing with the wind, it's something that can definitely hurt you. I know one of the guys that I was targeting who I think has played very well in the wind is Shane Lowry. And Lowry is a guy who I almost played today, but they had him matched up against Fleetwood. Fleetwood is another guy who I think is also very strong in the wind. So there were 2 things that I was kind of looking at when I was looking at the matchups today, and I moved over and I just ended up, I said, hey, I'm going to stick with Morikawa on Connors, not working out so far. So I'm definitely going to take a stab at some of these round 3 leaders, is to see if I can nail who's going to actually go into Sunday with the lead. Dave, are we back up and running?
Yeah, who loses power in the middle of a 70-degree day? I probably plugged a toaster into, who knows?
Who knows, man? The kid's probably stuck the fork in the toaster.
Yeah, hopefully he's all right up there, but this goes first. I'm just kidding. They're fine.
There you go. But I was just kind of talking about, like, I kind of got into, who we should be looking to target to win round 3. in general, and how the wind is going to kind of have an effect on that. It's something that we definitely have to take into consideration because when we get to 4 or 5 o'clock, it's really going to be kicking.
Yeah, leader after round 3, you're saying?
Yep.
Yeah, I would put I know he's the favorite right now, but Rose coming from England and a guy that does play in the wind, I would still keep an eye on. And the thing about Rose is, I thought he'd fall off yesterday, and he started to. He went +3 early.
He wobbled.
Yeah.
He got wobbly in the middle.
And maybe that was his chance, and nobody really, went past him. They brought him back into play for sure, but so I kind of do like his odds today really hang into this match, and have that lead after this round. Another guy I'm telling you, just stare at and think about is Bernd Wiesberger. I talked to him about him a little bit last week. He was my favorite European at the Valero, and he missed the cut. But he's shown his form, he's shown his willingness, he's shown his desire to compete and maybe get named to the Ryder Cup team here, which was a big angle I was trying to play last week. So another guy that knows the wind, guy that can come back from 2-3 off here. Keep an eye out for Bernd if you want to play a long shot.
Yeah, and kind of how I was kind of phrasing it is that we have Justin Rose, we have Rose, and he's at the top at 8 under, and then there's 6 people. It's 6 under behind them. So, and it's really kind of out that group. Then after that, you have Wiesberger at 5 under. You get into Schauffele and Matsuyama, Cameron Champ, Finau, guys like that. But, how far down the leaderboard do you think we should be looking when we're trying to target that round 3 winner?
I think no further than Wiesberger. I mean, I think the 4s are high because they're already on holes 6, 7, 8. They only got 10, 11 holes left to cash out and catch that lead. So no further than the 5. Rose just put another one in, so he's out to -9. If you're down at the 4 range and you got to catch up 5 strokes, I think it's quite a bit. So I'd probably draw that line at Wiesberger, look anything above. So you're talking 8 golfers that could potentially come out here with the lead today.
Yeah, definitely. One of the guys I was kind of looking at was Leishman. But I think, if I'm going to take a stab at this, it's either probably going to be Connors or JT for me.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't know if I want to play Rose, to be honest with you, because I don't know if there's kind of value for him at +275, even though he's getting off to a good start. But Justin Thomas +300, Spieth at +450. This is for the total tournament. I apologize. Let me move over to the round 3. Leader after round 3 odds. Justin Rose, even money. There you go. And Justin Thomas +450. Spieth +700, man. Brian Harman, who had a great day yesterday, +900. And Leishman's 1,100, man. I think, Leishman's a guy who I think has been getting better and better. He started the day at 5 under. He's only on hole 3, but he's already gained a stroke. 1,100 is kind of long odds for him, don't you think?
It is long odds, and again, you want to talk about a wind player. He's out in Australia. All the guys kangaroos, they ain't got trees, so I mean, he can play in the wind. So.
Yeah, and in November, and I know totally different tournament, right? It's only called the Masters, but it was really a different tournament in November. But he shot, I think it was a 68 in round 4. So he got better. My point is he got more comfortable as he went on, and he really closed well. So that's not going to help you to win round 3, but if you're looking at, hey, who's going to win the tournament, I think that could be a play. To be honest with you, I think that, a guy like Leishman or whatever, he still has a long day ahead of him. If he can play in the wind, it could throw some people off. He's a guy I'm going to look at, and I think I'm going to look at Justin Thomas, man. I think Thomas might be the new guy that I try and pounce on. Zalatoris, I just don't know if he can hold up, man. Like, it's a lot. Like, Sunday's going to be a pressure cooker, right? Like, the flame is going to be on their ass.
Remember Doug Gimmett, the players? I mean, I'm not saying Zalatoris is the same guy, but they're the same kind of like age, same kind of experience. It is a pressure cooker for these guys. I'm with you. So I'm going to, you know what? We're on the show now. I'm punching in a little bit on JT, 450, a little bit on Jordan, 700. We'll see if one of them hits. That's what I'm doing for a leader after round 3. I'm going to take the bros.
Nice. I love it. I'll tell you what, I might look at Connors, dude, the way he's shooting. I'll tell you, he's +1,800.
Yeah.
I mean, that's worth a stab, right? +1,800.
It is.
I mean, that can make your day.
What's he got? He's on hole 9, or is he 8?
He's on 8. He's on 8,
Yeah, he's got
but he's
time.
3 strokes out the lead.
And
Yeah, so he's got to pick up. Yeah.
8's a par 5. You might want to jump in now before he birdies that puppy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean they're the 2 guys I'm going to be targeting. I think Connors and JT, as far as round 3 leaders. But let's just go into the whole thing, who can actually walk away with the green jacket. And when we're looking at that, how far really down do we want to go? Because one guy I was looking at, and he's lost a stroke so far today through 5 rounds, but I think that Cameron Champ is sneaky, man. And I know he's a young guy, and it's going to be a lot of pressure for him, but I think he's done well at this course before. And I think that he's outperforming expectations so far, and nobody's talking about him. He rose up the leaderboard yesterday, and nobody's talking about him right now, sitting at 3 under. Obviously, a long way to go with a guy like Rose at 9 under. But I think as this day progresses and this wind picks up, that's going to come down. Like, what do you think should be the target right now? Like, if I were to say the winner's going to have to shoot, how well in order to get this green jacket?
So I think if you look at the pressure that goes on, and I go back to the players. I mean, the guys in the last 2 groups were hitting duck hooks and ground balls. A lot of pressure comes out of it, and JT snuck up from the 3rd, 4th group out. So I don't think you're going to see super low scores going into tomorrow. So I think today evens out around 8 or 9. The leader will even out around 8 or 9. I think the winning score is 11. I'm going to go with the winning score 11. Maybe it gets to a 12. So if you're looking at that, and you're looking at a leading score 11, 12, even push out, I say anybody that is within the -4-3 range has a shot. I mean, they got to go crazy, right? But within that 7-stroke range, I think they got a shot. I think you're reaching a little bit. I mean, Reed might be able, if he gets 18, he gets the 3. But I say there's about 12 players that can win this thing right now. So that's where I would eye my line, and eye anything above those 12.
Yeah, I wonder, what? I didn't look at the weather for tomorrow, but I wonder how, if it's going to be a factor, because that's the thing is if it's still windy and Reed has to do all that scrambling, like it could get tough for him. Like it's going to be real hard for him to go nuts, man. I honestly think that it's, it's probably going to come down to, one of those top 7 people that we talked about. I just think that these 4s and 3s right now, can they get there? Sure. But they're going to need these guys to really come back to earth at the top of the board. And there's 7 of them. Yeah. So it's not like they just need one guy to come back down to earth. It's going to be tough, man. I might take a little JT outright too, man.
Yeah, I'm looking at Sunday looks like a lot like today with some AM thunderstorms, winds as high as 13 miles an hour. Wind comes out of west-southwest, so it's a little different today. It's a south wind. So, if it does rain, okay, so if we get some rain tonight and get a little bit of AM thunderstorms, softens the course, my number might go up to 13, 14. And at that point, probably you're narrowing this down to maybe like 7, 8 players that can win it. So it really depends how much rain comes out. I'm going to be interested to see that. It's a good point about weather.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm probably I'm debating now, but I'm probably just going to play some round 3 today, and then play some, just try and pounce on the see what the odds are overnight, see what the weather looks like, and then just try and pounce on the winner, before tomorrow. That might be the best way to attack it, because the last thing you want to do is pounce on somebody now and then have them go haywire in the wind, and then they're completely out of it by tomorrow. And it's just the wind today, I think in the afternoon is just going to be really tricky. I know I'm harping on it, but I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely, man. It definitely does. So, talking about winners, I did get back in. Like I said, I punched some speed tickets. I did punch an extra DeChambeau. We can rip that one up now. He just, I thought after yesterday's 67, I really thought you were going to see a different pricing. So then my live action going in the weekend, it's really going to be riding the speed train, little Xander, and a touch play on JT, which I might juice up after the end of today. We'll see where he's at. Those are the 3 I'm focused on.
Yeah, so you like a little Xander. I mean, Xander 4 under, through 6 holes. He's hanging in there.
Yeah.
Finau hanging in there. Champ hanging in there. I really think that's the line. Like I think that Xander, female champ, like that group right there is probably the floor. Like I don't
Yeah,
think Reed has any shot to get there, and I'm a Reed guy, but
yeah,
I just don't think that's going to happen
yeah.
for him. And of course, my guy John Rahm, he's just sitting there moseying around, even +1. He's got a kid, no big deal. Hey, Mark's betting on me. I'll just take it easy.
Yeah, yeah, but hey, I didn't mind our angle. I really didn't, and I think Ron was here to play. It's just sometimes they don't. You pick what's key to you. You pick what you think is going to shape up. It just didn't happen this one, but we got a chance to still make some money back. Let's just talk about a few things before we get off the Masters that we did get right so far. And I know
Mm-hmm.
you've been hitting on some and have some live that are still in play. I think you have some top 20s that are still cooking. I did have a DeChambeau versus Dustin Johnson matchup. That's already been cashed. That ticket's good.
Yeah,
I had
winner, chicken dinner.
the lowest round on the course to be at least under 65.5. That happened with Rosie on Thursday. Thank goodness. And then had a little Matt Wolf not make the cut. So already, a few of those things all posted Wednesday night on our show, looking decent. Don't you have a few that are still alive?
Yeah, I mean, I have Reed top 20 and I have Rom top 20. So, we'll need Rom to kind of kick things up a little bit. Right now it looks like he's like tied for 34th, so he's going to have a strong finish if he's going to get to this top 20, and or a strong day tomorrow, whatever it depends, but those are still in action. Cantlay obviously didn't come home for me, but it looks like the way Connors is shooting, I might miss my matchup today, but those two are in there. But I'm probably gonna JT's the guy that I'm really looking at. I'm gonna see how things go, and I might jump on Cameron Champ as well. That's kind of like my long shot. He's minus three under now, but he's a guy I think he has a lot of youth, but he has experience on this course, and it might be ignorance is bliss, man. Like he might be out there just like, hey, this is house money.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, so Champ played really well. I think it was at the PGA Championship last year out in Harding Park. So he's had a little experience where he has played well on the big stage. He's had a couple wins too. I like Cam Champ. He's a kind of all or nothing guy. And once he's in this like this, I don't think that's bad money spent. I don't. I think Cam Champ is a competitor.
Yeah, I like him, man, and I think he's sneaky. Like I think he's sneaky in this spot. You can look at him. I mean, to win the whole thing, it's. Let me look it up right now, but the number's got to be pretty big, man. I mean, I like what I might play Corey Connors, 1,200 now to win the whole thing. I think that's good odds.
Yeah.
I don't even see Cam Champ on the board, man. What did they do? Did they take? Oh, here he is, 6,600.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got a little bit of that Tiger Woods factor too. He's motivated. He is a pioneer of the sport. He's a guy that knows there's a lot of eyes on him, and he's a big role model for a lot of people. I think he can step up and shine. Can he get all the way to 9 to the top? I don't know, but I do think this guy's going to be in it through Sunday. I don't mind that.
Maybe I'll see. Maybe I'll wait overnight with him and see what we're looking at for like top 5, top 10.
Okay, yeah.
And see if I can play him in there instead of playing on the win. Like I'll just take the odds and get try and get something a little bit more reasonable. We'll see how the rest of the day pans out. But definitely jumping on JT. Yes. That's definitely one that I'm doing, and I'm looking. I got my eyes on Champ, and I got my eyes on Connors, man. I just think the way he's shooting, it's I mean, he's making a move today. And that's kind of what you want to see. Get momentum going into the, these latter ends of the weekend. And, tomorrow's going to be a ton of fun, man. But so the best matchup you think, the matchup that we're rooting for is Thomas versus Spieth.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yep. And then Amen Corner, let me just tell you guys, Spieth could have won this jacket 3 times if he doesn't dunk it in the water on 12. So tomorrow, if he's there, get to 12, get your popcorn ready because that's going to be one hell of a shot on that short little par 3. And it's going to have some history behind it. So I can't wait. I think Spieth is in it no matter what. I think JT is. It just matters if they're in the final group or the second final group. They're going to be within reach all day. Yeah.
Jordan's still hot. Yep. Nick Joe checking in, man. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people are on Spieth, man. Like I said, if there's 172 to 1 tickets cash, I'll lose my mind. Like that's insane.
I got him. Like I said, last night was 7 to 1, and then the night before, I think I got him at 9. Yeah, 9-1. So, and I took him in my one and done golf tournament too. So, to win this thing. So I'm really excited about Jordan's chances. The kid just has a motor, and right now he's dialed in. It just all depends if he's ready to get through Amen Corner tomorrow. I'm telling you.
Yeah, both JT and Spieth look like they lost a stroke. They're sitting at -5 now,
Ah,
5 under. And Matsuyama won't go away.
yeah,
5 under as well, gains a stroke. And then you have, the three people, Connors, Leishman, Zalatoris, all sitting there at 6 under right now. And Rose is sitting there at 9 under, man. 9 under out of Rose. I mean, who would have thought?
yeah, dude.
Who would have thought? It's insane.
Yeah. What a tournament. And I will close on this. I know we got a little baseball stuff we want to get into. Is that the fans are back, right? And it has made a world of difference. I feel like they're fully, like, everyone's there. And I know they're still, the Masters is funny. They won't tell you how many are coming in or out. They'll keep that to themselves, but they're meeting their state requirements. But it just feels live again. It just feels that when you hear the echoes from 2 holes down and you just know something hot just happened, that's the Masters to me. And I've been so intrigued by this play over the past 2.5 days that it's just fun to be back. It feels like we're just getting back to a little bit of that normal, and golf is showing it.
Yeah, 100%, man. And so let's kind of pivot now over. I think we did great on the Masters. I want to talk a little bit about baseball. Baseball starting. I want to talk about baseball a lot more next Saturday on the show. But baseball has started, and I think it's important to go over for the viewers and for the audience just kind of some of the ways that we look at baseball, how we like to attack it, how we like to bet it, and what are some things that we saw early. I mean, me personally, I know that there's really 2 areas that I like to attack. When I look at baseball, and it's not necessarily the money line games. Like, you can do that. Like, hey, you get a strong pitching matchup you feel comfortable in. You can play that team on the money line, but typically I like to do the run totals and try and attack weak pitchers. Our man Tech Money put me onto that. And, last year I made a ton on the restart. I made a ton on the White Sox team total over, and I made a ton on the Cleveland unders. And that's something that I kind of carried through a little bit this year. I'm kind of dabbling, dipping my toes in. So much going on. I haven't really focused in on baseball. I'm not sure if I'll get there, but there are 2 ways that I like to attack it. That and the K props. I think the K props are a great way to bet baseball. Take these pitchers and their strikeout totals, and it's just fun to root for. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing better than having over 7 strikeouts and having your pitcher at 7 strikeouts and sitting there watching at 1 o'clock in the morning and seeing that 3rd strike and doing the lawnmower. At your TV, like the umps do, and they ring them up. So it gets no better. The K props are a fun way to do it, and the team total overs, I think, are a great way to do it. And that way you don't have to worry about, a specific team winning all the time. You just want to see some runs, or you want to see some strikeouts.
Yeah, I enjoyed those 2. I like the team totals. I do play those a lot. And to your point, you got a game that's 9-2, and your team total over was 4.5. Your guys might just get a couple softballs tossed up to them and played a couple late, and it's nice. You're not going to win that game, but you might get to that 4.5 because it just didn't mean something to the other team. So I think the team totals are really fun, and they're in play for most of the game, if not all the games. Some of the things that you mentioned that I've been looking at, I've posted on Twitter. I've been trying to post my games. I'm 2-3 on the games I've posted. Not great so far, down 2.5 units, but overall, I'm 10-5. I got to get my more posts out there. And what I've seen in the early season so far that has absolutely surprised me is it's been favorite season. And, I love value in baseball. I love a good underdog. I love looking at good value. And, you got a couple of them in the first week, the Orioles sweeping the Red Sox, and then the Red Sox going back and sweeping the Rays. We're all 6 underdogs. But more than that, you've just seen a lot of the big names and the big teams winning some games here. So keep an eye on the things that I like to keep an eye on. And that's definitely pitching matchup. I also like to look at the lineups versus specific handed pitching, what their average is against left-hand pitching, right-hand pitching. And the last thing I really like to eye up is, how did the team do the day or 2 before? Did they exhaust their bullpen? There was one game I eyed up and I just missed that, I knew Chicago wasn't going to be able to roll out Kimbrel. He had thrown 2 games before. They ended up winning 5-3 and holding off Milwaukee with another guy, but they used up their bullpen. And it just so happened that Milwaukee got back into it. They just didn't get all the way back in. And so those are a few things. And then the last one, I actually do look at weather. I look at wind conditions. So look at ground ball, fly ball ratios for the pitcher, and then see if that wind is blowing out. I think that makes a big difference. Those guys that keep the balls on the ground aren't affected as much by wind as the fly ball pitchers are. And those don't always get taken into account when you're looking at, lines. So those are the big things I look at. A lot of it from a hitting perspective, batting average against, specific pitching. Also a little bit of batting average, the balls in play. And then for pitching, I look at, how is the bullpen used? What their whip is. We're going to look at one guy in a second here. I'm going to show you a whip of 160. And then obviously we talked a little bit about, their success rate with ground ball to fly ball ratio.
Awesome. All excellent points. And listen, I can't wait to get into it more. We have our 3 plays lined up for today. You got 3 of them for the audience. Before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about, if you're not watching this show on YouTube, get over to YouTube. We're going to cut the streams a little bit early on Twitter and Facebook. We want everyone to go over to YouTube, like and subscribe, and you can get the Aaron Nola prize pack. You can see it right there on this stream, on the screen. Listen, you get the beers, you get the glass, you get all that good stuff, the bag. Baseball's back. It's going to be a fun summer. So everybody go over to the Heat Ratio Sports Network on YouTube. And all you got to do is subscribe. Hit like, while you're there, right? You might as well hit like. But make sure you subscribe and help us. You can support us that way. Ultimately, we want to migrate this whole thing over to YouTube. We're doing it a little bit at a time. So that's where you definitely want to watch the episode. Get over there and let us know you're there. Hit us up in the comments. Give us some plays, right? We want some bets. There's so much going on, every sport. We want to talk about it all. And we're going to try and do that with our 3 plays. Dave, I'm going to let you kick things off for the people. I have 3 of them lined up. What do you have cooking today? What do you got in the holster ready to fire on?
Yeah. And, I'm going to go out to the diamond and plug one of them. And it is, a big fave. But overall, I like this team. I like what they're doing. Drums, you may not like them so much because of your boy. But Gabe Kapler's got this team, the San Francisco Giants, at least playing a little bit of fundamental baseball. I think he took the goofy aspects out of his reign as Phillies manager and got rid of some of that. And now you see them. I mean, they are not a very good team when it comes to hitting the ball. I mean, they have 23 runs scored in 7 games so far, averaging less than 4 runs a game, but they're 4-3 overall. They're fundamentally sound. They play solid defense, and they pitch pretty well too. And then you got them matched up against a Colorado team today, who's rolling out, one of their worst starters in Chichi Rodriguez. Yes, that was a golfer back in the day who liked to do a lot of antics. Yes, but no, it's actually a pitcher. He's 29 years old. He sports a 1.60 whip coming into this year at 5.4 ERA as well. He's a guy that gets hit hard. His exit velocity is somewhere upwards of 90. So these guys, you want to see that more in the low 80s. This guy gets hit very hard. His walk percentage high, his K percentage very low. So it's a perfect recipe for a team like San Francisco that hasn't scored a lot of runs. They roll out Logan Webb, who on the other side has a very nice K percentage. I'm impressed by his ability to keep the innings short, keep the pitches, the pitch count solid. So, yeah, it's a high number. You're getting 190 today, but you got a team that's 4-3. San Francisco playing a little better, 1-2 straight, one against Colorado the other night. I'll take them today, minus the 190 with a pure fade against Chichi Gonzalez. It was Chichi Rodriguez, by the way, in golf, but I was having a little fun there.
Chichi, man, you got to fade Chichi. I mean, come on now. Yeah. Sounds like easy money. If Gabe can't deliver the bag against Chichi, I might fly to San Francisco and have a one-on-one with him. But he's probably out there in the beaches doing his push-ups and, talking about all his leadership books, right? Oh, he's got all the books memorized, says all the quotes in the interviews, Now, good for Gabe, man. Listen, he tried, wasn't a fit, just wasn't very good. Players didn't respect him. They're all drinking beers and playing Fortnite in the middle of the game. Not what we're looking for here in Philadelphia. So happy with Girardi, but let's hope Kapler brings home the bag today. All I'm going to move over. Not doing any baseball today, although I will say our guy Tech Money was on the Yankees over 4.5. I wonder
Yeah,
what that score is right now.
they're
Let me
down
take a
four
look at
nothing.
that.
They're down four
They're
nothing.
what?
They're down 4-0.
They're down 4-0. They haven't scored. Uh-oh, they're gonna need some runs. They got to bring
That's
home the
it.
bag for Tech Money. I'll tell you what. I've been tailing some of his plays, and I think it was last night we hit the Reds. I want to say I'm
Oh,
8-2 on plays that I'm tailing him. We had the Reds
really?
over. I think it was 4.5. Yeah,
I've
Tech
been
Money's
tailing
been
him.
doing it.
I think I'm 3-2 on the ones I've tailed him. He's got me
Yeah,
some money.
I have it 8-2, and I'm telling you, I have it. I don't play every one. Like he'll put
Yeah,
out like sometimes he'll put out 2 or 3 or whatever. I'll pick
yeah.
one that I really like and I'll fire on. But yeah, it was like 5 or 6 at some point, and
Oh,
now
he must
I
be
think
on fire then, because
we're eight
he
and two. He's doing
nice.
good. He's playing a lot of different things. He's mad because his sports book took the plays out because he was winning too much. They stopped offering him. Now he's looking for another sports book. But
Yeah,
hopefully that works out for Tech Money. I sent him a couple options. Our guy, we'll definitely have him back on in the future. But let's talk about how we're going to win some money. And I'm going to go with the NHL first. I'm going to go with the Chicago Blackhawks and the Columbus Blue Jackets. First period under 1.5. I think this game goes off at 7 tonight. They're the third and sixth best teams in the NHL at the first period going under. They go under, 41, 35% of the time. Last 10 games, they're combined 15-5 to the first period under. And this is what I like the best about it. So we have two teams that statistically play to the under in the first period. We're going to take them both, right? Both these teams went over in their last games on Thursday. The Blue Jackets ran into a buzzsaw with Tampa. I think they scored like 10 goals in the first period. It was incredible. Now, honestly, I think it was only like 3 or 4, but they just buzzsawed right through them. So that first period went over, and then the same thing happened with Chicago. So that, to me, that signals that we're going to get regression here, going back to the norm. We're going to get this first period under here. I don't see these teams getting 2 first period overs, considering that they're 15-5 combined in their last 10 games. So I'm going to jump on this one. The Blackhawks and the Blue Jackets first period under in the NHL.
nice, buddy. Nice. Right, you've been good in the NHL, and I'm glad you're giving the people some good ice plays there. I'm going to go the hardwood for my second one.
Nice.
I'm going to go out to the NBA. I'm going to take the Toronto Raptors getting a point on the road against Cleveland. What I like about this game is, sometimes you got to fade, sometimes you got to roll. And today I'm actually going to fade a trend that's going on, and that's the Raptors have lost 9 straight on the road. They haven't won a road game since February 19th when they won at Minnesota. Now I'm looking today. I want to make sure the line didn't change since I got it. Now they're up to +2. So you're getting some value there. They're a half game up on Cleveland overall, but Cleveland's 11-13 at home. You're not talking about, a team that just rocks the gym there. I think you got some good value there. Toronto, they kept Lowry at the trade deadline. They're still fighting. Remember in the NBA this year, 10 teams make the playoffs. I mean, we draw the line at 8, but 7-10 plays, 8-9 plays. They play playing games to get into the top 8. Toronto's sitting at 10. Cleveland half game behind them. This is a big game for both teams. Toronto, I still think is the better team. I think they're ready to break that losing streak on the road. Cleveland not very good at home at all. Give me the 2 points, and let me take the Raptors tonight to get that dub.
I love it, man. And, the Raptors, to me, are one team that has really disappointed me with their uniforms over the years. I'm going to be honest with you. Like I think that is the coolest nickname. Like, you think like Jurassic Park, a Raptor, all this stuff, and they have just had disgusting. I mean, now they're playing. They try and be Brooklyn or whatever,
Yeah.
But it's really like there's so much opportunity there with their uniforms.
No, I'm with you. But guess who just beat them for the best nickname in sports?
Who?
The Kraken. Bro, the Seattle Kraken.
Oh, the Kraken. I think that's a cool nickname, but I don't think it's the best in sports, man. I think
maybe not the best. It's close, man. That's
cool.
It's
pretty good. It's pretty good. It'll be a lot of fun. I mean, Seattle, they deserve a team, man. They deserve a hockey team out there. So I want them to get the Supersonics back, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and Vancouver's so close. It's just going to build that little rivalry out west that you kind of need up in the Pac Northwest.
Yeah. Vancouver's kind of out there on an island.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
They are the
Northern
the
California.
great.
doesn't have any teams.
Northwest.
Like, yeah, like it's Vancouver, and the next closest team is like the LA Kings. It sucks for them. So yeah, this is nice.
Yeah, it'll be very cool, man, and a lot of great people getting opportunities. Like the best thing about expansion in sports, and I won't go on a tangent about this, but it gets more opportunities. It's more jobs for the media. It's more jobs for people covering the team. More jobs for people doing analytics, staff. Everybody, digital content. So whenever these teams talk about expansion and people say, "Oh, it gets watered down" or whatnot, I'm always in favor of it, dude. I'm like, you know what, more teams. I think it's more opportunity for people, and there's cities that really deserve a team. Like Seattle deserves a team a lot more than probably Florida does, and or Arizona. And these guys got teams, so give it to Seattle, man. Always got a little place in my heart for Seattle. All they got is rain and coffee. But let me go over to pick number 2, and this is an event that has already started. A little afternoon UFC, man, and I love the afternoon UFC. I'm probably in the minority here, but typically you get the 10 a.m. Main event start time, and the main event goes off at 12:30. You're up till 2 a.m. trying to cash your tickets. Not today. They've already started. The main event is going to go off around 5:45 today. And this is Marvin Vettori against Kevin Holland. Holland coming in as a late substitute here after losing to Derek Brunson only 3 weeks ago, getting taken down. I'm 1-1 on the card today, so I hit Jack Shore, hit the money there, and then lost my other fight. So I need this win here to come out as a winner. This one's going to determine whether I'm in the green today on the UFC, and I think I am. And I think this is Vettori's fight to lose here. But listen, I'm sure he's at like minus 330 now. So I'm definitely not going to bet into that. So I'm playing them by decision here against Kevin Holland. And I think that this fight can go a lot like the fight went with Derek Brunson, where Brunson was able to kind of wear him down and take him down. And after that fight, Holland started talking about moving down to 170. Like, you can tell he just didn't like the way the fight went, and the fact that, like, he got taken down and couldn't do anything about it. Vettori's a guy who's right outside of the top 5 now, so this is a huge fight for him. So I think he's going to do whatever's necessary to win. He's a brawler. Now, he can stand with Holland, but I think it's much more dangerous. He's probably going to get pieced up if he sits there and tries to trade with him for the entire fight. And I just think he has to try and smother, get Holland against the cage, get him taken down, really take him out of the game, much like we saw just 3 weeks ago. I think this is a really quick turnaround time, for Holland coming off such a devastating loss, because Holland was a guy who his stock was rising. He was the next big thing. And then the hype train got derailed. And now you're seeing him come back and fight a guy who can do the same thing and win the same way in only 3 weeks. So I don't know. I don't like I don't like Holland's chances here. Like I said, Vettori, he can break right into the top 5. His only loss over the last 4 years is to the champion, Israel Adesanya. So I think it's his fight to lose, and I'm going to pick it by decision because I think he plays it smart, and he tries to take him down. He doesn't turn this thing into a brawl. And you can get the decision. I got it at plus 190. I think it's down to like plus 180 now, maybe 175 in some spots. Shop around for the best price, but this is some dog money here. We're going to double up on our cash, and we're going to take Vettori by decision here against Kevin Holland.
Nice, man. I like it. Again, another area that you have a good strength in. UFC, you have a good eye on and where the values are. You're not always just running out there picking those, like, the main primetime games. I mean, you have them. Don't get me wrong. But, I like this. And
yeah, I was on it. I'll tell you, I was on a heater before football season started. I think it was like 15-3. Like, I was going nuts, and I couldn't wait. And I was like, all right, now I'm going to take off. I'm going to focus on football, and I'll play a couple main events, but I'm not really going to dig into it and watch, fights all day, trying to prepare and make these bets. And when football ended and I got back in, I struggled a little bit. Like, I have 3 straight cards. I want to say it's 3 or 4 straight cards where I've been in the green positive. But before that, I went through a streak. I think I was like 0-7. It was like a 3-card streak where I couldn't pick a winner to save my life. And it was just, but now it seems like I'm back. But it was a struggle getting back into it after, the break with football. It took me a little time to kind of find my footing again, which is weird because you keep up with it and it's not like anything changes materially. Like you still know, what fighters are doing what. It's not like I didn't watch it anymore, but I just wasn't, really handicapping it and getting down into the statistics. And it took me a little time to get out of the mud.
Yeah, yeah, dude, and this is where you go. Sometimes it takes us time, and then once we can kind of trust what we were handicapping and trust those numbers are rarely where we need to go, and not really get off your tracks. And I think sometimes we have to, but sometimes we don't. And I think you've trusted your ways, and that's been important to get back on the tracks.
Yeah, 100%, man. And you have to believe in your process. So there's always going to be peaks and valleys. When you're betting, it's always going to be peaks and valleys. It's never going to be linear. You're always going to go up, go down. And the main thing is to be consistent and just don't start like, hey, I'm down, so I'm just going to double my stakes and try and catch up, because that's just a recipe for disaster.
It is. It is. Truly is. All right, I'm going to dip back to my third. I'm going to go into baseball. And I like two things in the same game, but I'm just going to give you the one and tell you, think about the other one. And I'm going to go to the Boston Red Sox versus Baltimore Orioles. And the reason I'm going into this game is I actually posted this one last Friday and lost it big. I had the Red Sox to beat the Orioles. I think it was Sunday, actually. Sorry. And, at minus 180, Bruce Zimmerman versus Garrett Richards, and Orioles go out up 10-0 after 2 innings and win the game 11-3. Well, you get the same pitching matchup today. And the reason I talked about what Drums' strengths are, and why you got to stick with it, is why I'm going back to the same wheelhouse I went to last week, even though I lost 11-3, and that's to fade Bruce Zimmerman of the Orioles. Had a decent game, was able to get through 6 innings, 4.5 ERA, let up 3 runs. Hey, he did his thing, and he got them a win, but he still stinks. And what we got to focus on, he had last year a 6.23 ERA. His home run percentage is over 1 a game. He had 3 in spring training in just 13 innings. His ERA last year was 6.23. Now look at this. His exit velocity was 95 back in 2020. Well, they only hit an exit velocity 87 in the first game. So some of this stuff has to come back, regress, right? Looking at his ERA 7.71 last season was 4.5 in game 1. His K percentage, walk percentage, the same, but you can see where he didn't let up as many runs because he didn't get a hit as hard that game. But the numbers don't lie. I expect the Red Sox to really hit him hard tonight. It just matters if Garrett Richards wakes up and has a game himself. They're waiting for him to come. But so I would also, on the other hand, it's a high total. But over 5.5 for the Red Sox, I like. And the reason I like that, let's go over what they've done in the past 4 games. They've gone 11, 6, 9, and 7. So they've eclipsed that 5.5 in 4 straight games. The bats are hot. I expect them to stay hot tonight. They're not great against left-handed pitching so far, only 217 average, but I do think that's just been too small of a sample size. We'll see that pan out during the season. This is a fade of Bruce Zimmerman. This is a Red Sox offense that's hot. I'm taking the Red Sox, and I'm even taking a play on the 5.5 over a run line. A lot of times you like to stick with the 4s and 4.5, so it's a big number, but they've shown the bats are hot. I'll roll with it. And you're getting plus value on the plus 5.5 too, over 5.5, plus 112.
Yeah, dude. Everybody loves plus money, man. I might tail you on that one. Let's go Bo Sox, man. Let's get some cash today. I kind of like it. And I love your angle of, hey, listen, like this guy, it's almost like I was talking about with the hockey pick, where it's like, okay, like these 2 teams are historically under, but they just both went over. So are they going to go over again? And it's like, hey, listen, I went against Zimmerman. He got me. Yeah. It ain't happening twice in a row. I'm going to go right back in them. Instead of laying off, you just attack it more.
You tip your cap. And then you fade it again.
And then you make them do it again. Yeah, try and do it again. I'm coming back for my money. It's time to collect. Love it. Absolutely. Last play of the day from me. Listen, FCS College Football still going strong. A lot of these games are getting canceled with COVID. Next weekend, Selection Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. And that's when we find out, who makes the playoffs. All 11 conference champions or 10 conference champions get in to the playoffs, the field of 16, and then 6 at-large bids get done. And there's a lot of games that have a lot of meaning, in these last couple weeks. And one of them is one I'm going to talk about right now, and that's the Delaware Blue Hens, our local team. They're undefeated, 3-0 this year. They've scored over 30 points in almost in every game. They have been one of the pleasant surprises. But the conference that they are in, they're in there with the CAA, with James Madison, with Richmond. Richmond's undefeated. James Madison's undefeated. So there's a lot of undefeated teams, and only one of them, one division winner, is going to one conference winner is going to get in and get that automatic playoff berth. These other teams are going to have to qualify with these at-large bids. So style points count. I'm playing a lot of favorites this weekend. I have favorites in 2 other games that I'm playing for this exact same reason. But now you have Delaware playing Delaware State. It's a rivalry game that's not really a rivalry, right? Delaware won every game the past 9 years. They're laying 25.5 in this game. Delaware is 8th overall in the FCS. They're one of the top teams, and I think that they are going to roll. This game's on ESPN2 tonight at 6 p.m. So, they get that added motivation that they get to play on ESPN2. It's a big deal. Nolan Henderson, quarterback of the Blue Hens, has a 70% completion percentage, but the running back Lee, he's really the motor of this offense, and they win with the running game. They should be able to run all over this Delaware State team. Listen, it's a big number, but I don't think it's big enough. Like I said, Delaware scored 30-plus every game, that they've played this year, all 3 games. Now they're playing this is a huge downgrade in competition. So I think they're going to score 30-plus easy. You have a total that's in the low 40s. So they know Delaware is going to be doing all the scoring in this matchup. So I'm going to lay the points here with the Blue Hens, on ESPN2 tonight, 6 o'clock. I think they take care of business in a rout. So I love to see it. And I'm backing the Blue Hens. The Blue Hens are the team that I'm rooting for. I hope they get into this, to the Sweet 16, the Selection Sunday, and they can do some damage in the playoffs.
I'm gonna be a little childish and 15 years old again, but you know what? I love the Blue Hens. Their point differential plus 69. They're blowing teams out.
Oh yeah, 69, yeah. Nice.
69,
yeah.
Nice. But they are 103-24. They are, it was a team, we talked about early in the season. They were off for a couple of weeks before it all started with Villanova as well, right? We're like, look, this team, whatever. They're kind of mid-range. No, they're good, man. They're good. Get them while they're hot.
They're real good. And, you mentioned their point differential, and those 24 points that they let up, 21 were the last game they played against Rhode Island, which was their strongest competition that they played. They beat Maine 37-0. I think they beat Stony Brook 31-3. So they've been dominated. They showed the ability to blow teams out. So I think laying the points here in this spot, and they have to win, because if they lose, they might not get in the playoffs at all. Because Richmond's going to be undefeated. James Madison's probably going to be undefeated. They have a big game against Villanova next week that they're scheduling. And James Madison rescheduled their game against Richmond next week as well. So they're hoping that they can get that game off without any COVID issues. And, these games are really important, in how the whole CAA shapes up, and how, if Delaware is going to make a push into this playoffs, they need to take care of business tonight. So I'm putting a couple shekels on them getting it done.
Nice. Dude, I love it. And we got a good 3-pack. We got a lot of good Masters plays out there. This afternoon is going to be just nice to have a couple cold ones. For me, I will say, I was wearing it a little bit proud earlier. It was opening day of baseball in my town. I know it is for a lot of little leagues over here in East Greenwich. It's that fun time of year. Baseball, obviously just opened the other week. You see the kids out again, and it's a really good weekend for local sports, but as well as watching our sports and winning a couple bucks. Let's hope.
Absolutely. Let's get the bag today. One quick Masters update before we go. Justin Rose still leading at 8 under, and then you have Leishman now at 6 under in second place with Zalatoris. So very interesting seeing Leishman stay steady at 6 under. Connors dropped to 5 under, Matsuyama 5 under, Spieth and Thomas at 5 under. They're just finishing up the front 9 there. So it's going to be a great day for golf in the second half. Going to be a great day to win some money. So best of luck for everybody in all their plays. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you go to YouTube, like and subscribe. Heat Ratio Sports. Get entered automatically to win the Aaron Nola Phillies prize pack. I showed it to you earlier. We had our first winner last week, Ant Mazzotti. Listen, I told him, I DM'd him right away. I said, listen, you won the prize pack. You get 6 beers. You don't have to drink all 6. Fire me up and let me get one of them, because those Yinglings are delicious. But guys, hopefully everybody wins all their bets. We will be back Wednesday night for the Golf Betting Show. We'll be back next Saturday for everything else sports gambling. So thanks for tuning in. Follow us on Twitter, like and subscribe on YouTube, and